the House, Newt Gingrich, and former Senate Majority Leader Bob Dole. We're hashing out, again, the small amount of funding the feds contribute to K-12 education. He's also had a lot of experience with testing and the cost of testing at the state level. So what he and his researchers came up with was a figure of a cost projection, which I think is actually a very modest mid-range projection, of $16 billion. It's what's going to cost to implement Common Core. And again, that's going to be paid for by all the folks at the state and local level, not by the feds. For Massachusetts, it's going to be $350 million to implement, I think, what are demonstrably lower quality standards than what we had before. Rhode Island, you're somewhat fortunate. It's only going to cost you $60 million. Okay?
How much?
$60 million by our projections. And I'm willing to bet,
Raise fees. No
and
problem.
I'm willing to bet that your governor, your Board of Education, your commissioner, your Department of Education have no idea. And probably did a cost projection. Several months after ours came out, the Gates Foundation hired the Fordham Institute to do a cost projection, they'd also paid to do one of the evaluations on Common Core. They came up with a more flexible and much lower figure, although much to their embarrassment, when they were giving testimony out in Indiana, a state senator from rural Indiana asked them why they had neglected to include the biggest cost driver in our Common Core, which is the multi-year technology cost, and they had no answer. So they purposely excluded the biggest cost driver. So I still think, even though they've done their review, I think ours was not only the first, but I think it's the truest, and we accepted no money from any of these foundations or anybody to do the projection. There are a variety of other issues around Common Core or that run parallel to Common Core. Mary Ann is going to talk with you about the data collection and the data mining, which frankly some of it is really creepy. Pioneer is in the process of doing research on that, but we've not authored research as of yet on it. What we have already in process, I think, is very startling, and she'll talk to you a lot more detail about it. Pioneer, we're big advocates of school choice, whether that's private schools or parochial schools or vocational technical schools or virtual schools. The fact is that if states and charter schools are all being herded into the same set of standards and the same set of tests, school choice isn't going to mean anything. And in their haste, some archdioceses across the country have adopted Common Core. I spoke in front of the Archdiocese Task Force of the Archdiocese of Boston just yesterday about it. Increasingly, you're seeing them begin to back off that as the bishops begin to find out what's in Common Core, what they're finding objectionable, as mostly the parents are getting animated about this. They're getting a lot of pushback.